the good, the great, and the ugly. Bridgerton season 3 was something.
You are something.
And I'm not saying everything's bad. Not at all. They implemented some really great changes, but some things were just really not what they should have been. And today we're gonna discuss exactly what went wrong with season 3. So let's start off with what I believe to be the biggest mistake they made. We did not have enough Polin scenes. I'm not saying they didn't get enough screen time. I'm saying the screen time was wasted. They don't always have to be together at the same time. They can also be in scenes separately, but it would have been nice if in those scenes they would have kind of talked about each other a little more. Now, obviously, we already got a lot of their interactions in the seasons before, and I understand that it's not necessary to build up their whole relationship from the start, but with all the other things going on, Francesca getting married, Benedict and his threesome, Violet and her blossoming garden, the Mondriches entering society, and then, of course, unfortunately, Cressida, it just takes away the attention from the main couple, and I feel like in this case they should have put in a little more effort into combining everything and pulling everything towards them somehow. Like, everyone was having their own thing, and it felt like those storylines were just living side by side, but they were not really intertwined whatsoever. For example, in the seasons before, Violet was always meddling in the love life of their children. And yes, we did get this one nice scene where she kind of makes Colin come to the ball so he could stop Penelope from getting engaged. Yes, wonderful. But I was just missing everything that was happening before that. And for anyone who has not read the books, Lady Danbury actually has somewhat of a friendship with Penelope. They get along quite well, and she realizes before anyone else that Penelope is in love with Colin. And she also tells her, like, he's too stupid, like, he should realize that you are the catch of the season, something like that. Then, of course, a lot of people complain about that, and I can only agree. We did not get a flashback scene from Colin and Penelope meeting for the first time, and that would have been such a cute little scene. I would have loved to see that. In the books, we obviously have, like, the flashback. It starts off with that, with how they met, and they do talk about it. Why didn't they just do a flashback? I just don't understand. Every single season had flashbacks, and this season didn't. So I was kind of thrown off by that. Not because I'm such a lover of flashbacks, but I feel like we Polin fans deserve that. Didn't we deserve that? Just a little cute and like they carved out the time for this story. Why didn't they just make a flashback? I don't know. They could have cut out one or two scenes of Colin doing other things and just put in a little cute flashback. I would have loved that. And then, of course, I'm sorry to complain about that, but the love confession in the second part is just garbage. Yes, I loved the carriage scene. I loved Colin's confession there.
What if I did have feelings for you? Feelings like a total inability to stop thinking about you, about that kiss.
It was amazing.
Feelings like dreaming of you, and in fact preferring sleep because that is where I might find you.
Like, it was so good.
A feeling that is like torture.
And it was not in the books. Like, this is show only territory. And Luke did a great job of conveying me that he actually feels all those things.
But one which I cannot, will not, do not want to give up.
It was so nice. It was so intense. But in combination with the fact that he doesn't fully know who she is, it's just painful. I love the love confession, but it just hurt me in my little Jill heart. It really hurt me in my little Jill heart because I was like, you don't know her like that. Like, don't say that. So that took away so much of the power of the first one. And the second one was just not really there. To me, the second one was just like, what the hell was the scene?
Lucky I am to stand by your side and soak up even a little bit of your light.
And in the end, Pen says that Colin has given her confidence by validating her. What was that? What was that all about? Like, first of all, when did he validate her? Just by trying to help her with Cressida and then the whole situation there? Or like, and second of all, Pen has actually been quite confident in her writings. And I know that from the books as well. We also see that in the show. We see how she's listening to other people, reading Lady Whistledown, and she's very happy and proud about that. And she really likes the way people like that. Why is Colin's validation worth anything right now? I feel like this confession was just, I don't know who wrote that, honestly. But let's get into the second and also extremely important thing, splitting the season into 2 parts. That way they kind of had to make like 2 big cliffhangers, and in a show with only 8 episodes, and especially with the fact that they put in so many new storylines, it was just really hard to do that in such little time. And as much as I love the carriage scene at the end of the first part, I think it was misplaced there. Also, because of that, I feel like this season time just feels like a weird concept. It is too fast and too slow at the same time. Number 3, Colin. Let's talk about Colin. This season, Colin was not charming whatsoever. He was just extremely cringe. Every time I rewatch the beginning of the season when he's like charming all those girls, no. And then his intimate scenes, no. I was very taken aback by those. I did not want to see that, and I did not need to see that. And in the book, we also do not see that. We know that he obviously, he's been around, but he's never been a rake, and there's no reason to make him a rake. This is a completely different love story than the other 2 were. Obviously, Simon and Anthony were completely different. They were rakes through and through. Colin wasn't like that, and we did not need that in a friendship to lovers love story. That is just really, really not necessary. We only need the realization, and the whole thing with dabbling, I love that. I'll get into it later. Like, why did they have to make him an asshole rake? He is sweet and naive, and he just loves life and is always laughing and charming and all that, which fits perfectly to the friends to lovers trope. But a friend to rake to love, no. Like, he went on travels before. What's different now? What has changed? That Marina broke his heart again? Is that it? And that's why this is number 3, because this is one of the biggest issues of this season. Bridgerton so far has done one thing right: make the male lead vulnerable and therefore attractive to the audience. And yes, to some very little extent we see Colin try and be vulnerable, but his whole character arc in the book is him trying to overcome his imposter syndrome. He wants to have a purpose, and we see that in his facial expression when Benedict mentions his purpose. And I do see that the actor tried to put that into his performance, but these micro facial expressions are just not gonna cut it. They could have easily explained his need for approval by including the Marina storyline. She listened to him, she laughed at his jokes, and my man was in love. Like, in love. Another thing that really bugged me is he never properly apologized for the things he said at the end of season 2. He did say,
"And I'm very sorry for my callous comment here last year. It pains me to see you upset."
but that was not him showing vulnerability. That was not him actually being like truly sorry for that. Especially in the show, he said it out loud to other eligible men. That is devastating to a young lady. In the books, he actually only said it to his brothers, which is still embarrassing, but it is not as devastating as saying it out in public to other men. And in the books, Penelope walks into them and he realizes right away that she heard that, and he starts explaining himself, and it's very embarrassing to everyone involved, but like he already feels really bad about that. Doing something similar like this, like not the walk-in, but him like really being apologetic and trying to explain what he meant, and like, that would have been the very first step of some kind of vulnerability and like a different type of closeness besides the friendship that could have started this chain reactions of them going from friends to lovers. And that's the thing, we didn't get many different types of closeness between them. We only had them being friends, and then they were lovers. There was no other emotional intimacy, sharing feelings and all of that, and realizing that this person gets me on another level, like really, really differently. And that's what I was missing here. For example, when Anthony and Kate realized that they they're both goofballs. They're both goofballs and they're very competitive, and they realize that they have these other things in common and not just, some physical attraction. Then the next thing is the love coach trope, which would be a good and fitting trope for this kind of storyline, was done after 2 episodes. She legit didn't learn anything from him. He just said, well, be yourself. And you're like, okay, thanks. Got it. And yes, it worked with dabbling because she didn't care. So yes, in the end, it was exactly what he told her. So I get it, but he didn't actually help her. The only reason why it worked was because she was outed as the one almost spinster getting help from a Bridgerton. And that's why she was like, you know what, fuck it, I just don't care. And that's why she didn't care, and that's why it worked. But it was no help from Colin whatsoever. Like, he did not teach her how to not care about what people think. I really enjoyed that this trope was there. It was not there in the books. Great idea. Why was it so short? The next thing, obviously, Colin finding out that she's whistled down after all of their intimate scenes. As I said, it really pains me in my little Jill heart. It taints everything. It taints their whole intimate scenes. It taints the love between them. To me, it just really destroyed everything. I'm just gonna say it plainly. It destroyed everything. Honestly, if this didn't happen, if he found out before and then all of the intimate scenes happened and he was still acting like the weird way he did, I would be so, like, I would be 60% more happy with this season. I swear. Like, Pen is a really intelligent woman, and it does not make sense that she would just lie to him like that. And like, kind of, yeah, not really, but kind of force him into a marriage without him having the full picture. That is so unlike Pen. It is really so unlike her. And because of that, it feels like they were just physically intimate, but not emotionally. And as I said before, like, I didn't feel the mental intimacy. I didn't feel like they were mentally connecting at all. And this is one big reason for that. Also, the next thing, like, I just have to throw this in for all the book girlies. On a settee, in the books, listen, in the books he specifically thinks about this and he's like, I could take her on this, whatever it was, like some old ass furniture piece. But he wouldn't want to do that because Penelope deserves better. Penelope deserves her first time to be in a proper bed. That's what he thought to himself. How, from this source material, did you think that Colin and the way he is, and let me tell you, I do not like book Colin. I like show Colin way more. But how would you think that book Colin or show Colin, especially show Colin, would want to do it on this weird ass furniture piece? And I understand, my girl's short, okay? She's very, very short, and Luke is very, very tall. I understand that there are some things and you have to make it look somewhat good, and it is hard to do that with a short and a long person. I fully get that. But no. Now, one thing that was really missing is the explanations for everything. So far, we always had the main character in some way talking or having flashbacks about how they feel about things. Usually, they would go to Violet and tell her how they feel about things and how they don't want certain things because of some trauma they had in their past or whatnot. And this time we didn't get that. We didn't get Colin telling why he was in love with Penelope all of a sudden. And this is like minor, right? We get some little sprinkles of that, and we fully, like at least I fully understood why he was all of a sudden in love with her. I get it. But the sudden mind shift to him not liking or being really mad at her was not explained at all. Like, he's just sitting there sulking, being mad, not wanting to talk to anyone. I knew what was going on because I read the book, but I was watching it with a friend and they didn't get it whatsoever. They were like, why the fuck is he mad like that? And I had to explain what was going on. And from there on, you kind of can see it in some of the scenes that were happening before, like the little facial expression change when Benedict was talking about his stuff. But it was really not explained. And that's what was missing. Like, just a simple scene with Violet and him telling her that the only reason he was traveling is because he had to do something, because he doesn't have anything here. He doesn't have anything he's doing. He's just a fun, charming guy, and that's that. That's what everyone sees him as, even you, mother, or something like that. And then the mother could be like, no, Colin, darling, I love you because you are such a nurturing person and you are so, I don't know, whatever. Some nice things. And I really did like the whole friendship is a great base for love scene with Violet. I really enjoyed that. That was great. And I gotta say, like, again, not everything was negative. I really loved the scene, and I feel like, yes, this sold to me way more that he is actually in love with her. But afterwards, there was nothing. Like, I did not understand, just watching the show, I did not understand why he was all of a sudden mad at her. I did not understand why he then, again, changed his mind and was not mad at her anymore. The comparison in season 2 was when Anthony told his mother why he didn't want to be with Kate, because he doesn't want anyone to feel the pain of loss that Violet had when she lost her husband. And Kate told her mother why she didn't want to be with Anthony, because Anthony only wanted to be with her out of obligation. as she thought in that moment. Like that, if they left out those conversations, I wouldn't know why Anthony didn't want to be with her, because we've seen some flashbacks. Like I could put that together, but I would not realize why Kate wouldn't want to be with him. It would just be like, why? Why the hell do you not want to be with him? And that was also a thing. I also watched it with my friend. They watched it for the first time with me. When Kate said no to Anthony's proposal, they were like, why? Why is she doing that? And I was like, okay, wait, hold on. There's gonna be a conversation. You're gonna get it. Just wait like 10 minutes, okay? And we did get one scene with Cressida calling Colin out for being jealous. Let me tell you why I hated that so much. How on earth does Cressida know that? Cressida is supposed to be stupid. Why did she, out of all people who had never had anything to do with Colin, know that he was jealous? I know they wanted to give us something. I know they wanted to explain it to the viewer. With Cressida saying that, to me, it just looked like, yeah, she's just saying anything. She just wants to be mean, because that's Cressida. She always says just the meanest thing ever. And if it's true or not, I don't know. It would have been way, way better if it came from, I don't know, Anthony. He was like, you know what, brother? You are just jealous of her. That's why. So much more impact. Anthony is the honest, harsh guy in the family. It would have been perfect. Let just Anthony take that scene. And I understand, the actor was onto bigger and better things. I fully understand. It's hard to do it like that. But anyone from the family. I don't know, Eloise knows Colin very well. That it could have worked. Like, she already knew that Penelope was whistled down, so she could have been like, you know what, I think you're just jealous, because I was jealous myself as well, or something like that. But we didn't get that. So, of course, I knew he was jealous because of the books, but not because of Cressida. I did not believe a single thing coming out of her mouth. Ever. But honestly, throughout the season, it just seemed like he was mad at Pen for the things she wrote about Eloise, the things she wrote about Marina. Both of these things are not in the book, by the way. In the books, she has always kind of been okay, like not very mean. And then, of course, the thing that she wrote at the end of episode 1 about Colin. And that's why he's mad at her. Like, that's at least how it seemed to me. And that's what he said. So that's what I believed. So the whole Whistledown hate kind of seemed like too much to me. So he is jealous of Pen, but it doesn't come across in the show whatsoever. And the last 10 minutes of the whole season, they are not enough. They are not enough. And then, of course, Violet not meddling at all. Like, she has this two conversations in part 1, and I like them. I really enjoyed them. I really treasure them. But then in part 2, she's just gone. And she even talks to Lady Featherington about that. She's like, oh, what the hell's going on with these two? And then she's like, oh, not my problem no more. So this is just so unlike Violet. And we really could have needed her in the second part, talking to Colin about his issues. And honestly, now that I think about it, we had a scene where Anthony and Kate were talking to Colin before his wedding. This would have been the moment where Anthony could have told him something like, brother, you're jealous, or something that would have made sense. Number 4, Penelope. I love my girl, but some things were just not in order. The makeup, the nails, the cinched waist, wearing her hair open in public, I know. Those are mishaps. I myself do not mind too much. I also watched The Buccaneers, so I don't need historical accuracy there. Let's just leave it at that. But I do understand that a lot of people didn't like that. And what I didn't like is like the open hair type of thing. She looked incredibly beautiful, but it was kind of a little bit of a special, intimate thing, right? We get that with Kate and Anthony in the library, where her hair is open, and that's also where both are very vulnerable. So, yeah. Why did Pen not get oral? Yes, I'm fully asking that question. Why did my girl not get any head? Bridgerton is kind of about female pleasure, so why? Colin is super worldly, but not worldly enough for cunnilingus, really? Kate got oral in season 3, in Pen's season. Why? What? I mean, maybe the actors didn't want to do that. In that case, I take it all back. But if that's not the case, why? And I gotta say, overall, I was not very happy with the intimate scenes. I didn't like how, I don't know, there was a blanket over her tummy and kind of, to me, it seemed like they were trying to hide her body. And Nicola even said in an interview that one very, very naked scene was her idea. And that was the boob showdown, which was an amazing scene. And if you only take the other 2 scenes where she was bare, they were kind of hiding her body. And I did not enjoy that. Kind of felt icky in the moment watching that, because you didn't hide it in the past few seasons, and she was obviously open to that, so It just left a bad taste for me. Then, as I already mentioned, why was she not cool with Lady Danbury? Agatha always meddles with the main couple, and in the book, she actually also does, and she tells her something along the lines of, he will see it someday, or something like that. Why is that not in the show? Why is she absolutely not interested in this? And the only scene we get is at the very end, where Pen says she's Whistledown, and Agatha is like, oh yeah, I knew. Which, yes, in the book, she also assumed it was her. It's just one scene at the very end. Like, where do you take that? She doesn't talk to Pen whatsoever. Why did she know? Why? So let's move on to the lesser characters, as I like to call them. Benedict. Benedict had threesomes for multiple days. Go at it, boy, like, get whatever you want to, but why did we have to see that in this season? Like, a lot of people were complaining about it, and I agree, like, especially with the main storyline being what it was, but I gotta say, if you want to set up his character for next season, I understand why you would put him there. So this is like a minor complaint. But I gotta say, I did not like him being the one rejecting Tilly, because it would have made way more sense if he was rejected because she just wants to be free and whatnot, and him being the one who kind of wants to settle down, because that would have set up his season way better, because he was already in the mood to, settle down. It really bugs me that Francesca did not love John after fighting and begging for the stable love that she got. Honestly, if you've ever actually felt love, proper, full intensity love, it is not the butterflies, it is the stability. It is knowing that somebody is there and that they're gonna be there forever. That is actual love. And I don't know, it really takes away from all of that, especially because in the book, at least, she does have like a really nice relationship with John. And then in the end being like, oh no, wait, she's actually gay. I felt like they were really, really cute, and I didn't like that she kissed him and was not into it, and then she saw Michaela and everything goes to shit. I don't know. They just, to me, it was unnecessary. They destroyed it. And especially in the book, it is Michaela Michael who loves her from the beginning on and not the other way around, and that just kind of happens over time. They're changing my girl's storyline, and I'm not happy about that. And I'm not against having like a love story between two women at all. Like, I'm fully down for that. But in Francesca's book, there's this whole storyline about motherhood and wanting that, and very heartbreaking. And I feel like if you want to be inclusive, which I guess is the reason why they wanted to change that, I feel like they could have put that storyline onto somebody else and have the storyline of Francesca struggling with that. Because we rarely get to see women struggling with becoming mothers, so I would have really enjoyed having that. And also, I just thought she was neurospicy, which also made me feel more seen. I really loved the idea of that. I really loved that they included that, and yeah, apparently that's not the case. Honestly, I would have rather have Eloise fall in love with Cressida and then get her heart broken or something like that. That would have been such a better story than whatever they did with Francesco. Next one is Eloise. Eloise in the show is so self-centered. Like, she does not deserve Pen's friendship whatsoever. What Pen did wasn't okay, and I understand that, but the way they reconcile, and Eloise then being like, tell Colin. But then, oh no, don't tell Colin because it might affect me. And then she's like, oh no, I cannot help you with your issue with Colin that I caused, so good luck. Ridiculous. That, to me, ridiculous. And then, I don't like Cressida. I'm the last person to like Cressida. But why did Eloise cut her just like that? That did not make any sense to me. Like, to me, Eloise is just a really bad friend. And while we're on the topic, the next one is Cressida. Cressida being the mastermind who finds out who Lady Whistledown is by just knocking on random doors is ridiculous. Eloise is smart and resourceful, and she wasn't able to find her. Why on earth would Cressida? Her figuring out that it's Pen just because of the little remark about the red-haired lady, but then also we know that the red-haired lady is actually Lady Whistledown's maid, as portrayed by Penelope, and not Lady Whistledown herself. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. In the book, it is just about the remark in Lady Whistledown's sheet, something about it would break Lady Whistledown's heart if Cressida would take all the credit for that. And that is something that Penelope said before, and Cressida knew, because Penelope said something mean to her, and then Lady Whistledown said the same. That's how she figured it out, and then obviously Penelope just caved. And you were like, okay, yeah, fuck, she knows. They could have just done the exact same thing. I don't know why they changed this, and I don't know why they changed it to something that does not make any logical sense whatsoever. If they want to make Cressida this like super intelligent and resourceful person, okay, like whatever, but then making her so dim-witted that she's not even able to forge a Lady Whistledown paper. She does not know how to write. She could have just taken old issues and tried to take like the same sentence and add another name to, I don't know, no. It just clashes. Those two things cannot go hand in hand. That's that. Also, with what money did she pay the printer? I'm pretty sure her father didn't give her the money for that. And what I really didn't like is that the writers tried to make me have empathy for her. I spent the last 2 seasons hating her. And I'm fine with that. I like hating characters. I'm fine with that. But why give her that ending? Like, the season starts off with them trying to make us feel bad for her. If she has a specific character arc next season, like falling in love with Eloise or something like that. I don't know. Okay, like I would be like fine with that, like making her, you know, more likable. But then she in part 2 turns and becomes this mean person again. I can make sense of it because she is like in this ridiculous situation and she has to try and get out of it. I can try and make sense of it. But this is what it is. I have to try and make sense of it for it to make sense to me, because there's not enough storytelling in this season for it to be shown to me. I'm super fine with movies or shows that make you think about it way more, but honestly, for that I go and watch a Christopher Nolan movie, and I love thinking about them and I love rewatching them. Tenet, what a crazy ass movie. I loved it so much, and I'm gonna be rewatching it again now that I think about it. But Bridgerton is not that. Bridgerton is a show where you sit down, you get everything handed on a silver plate, and everything turns out wonderfully nice in the end. That's why it is my comfort show. This was really not it, and I just did not enjoy it. One thing I have to say before you move on is, if Cressida doesn't have a storyline next season, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm gonna be so mad, because why did we spend so much time on her? Why did we have a set for her home? Like they had to build that, and if she's not there, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be big mad. So the next one, the Mondriches. Yeah, no. The whole Mondrich storyline kind of felt like a quota that had to be met. They had the contracts laid down already for multiple seasons, and they were like, okay, we have to use these 2 people somehow, and now we're gonna do that. And I did not like that. Why are they everywhere? Why are they at Pen's engagement party? What the fuck who knows them there? There's no Simon there. Of course, the actor doesn't want to be in Bridgerton anymore, but there's also no Daphne there. Why are the Mondriches there? Who are they friends with there? Who knows them? Why are they at Penelope's engagement party? It doesn't make any sense. Who invited them? Who invited them? Lady Danbury? Why is Lady Danbury spending time with the Mondriches and not with Penelope? Why the hell were they at the wedding? Why the hell were they at the very intimate wedding of Francesca? Who invited them? What are you doing? Daphne wasn't at Francesca's wedding, but the Mondriches were. Why? They are also quite dull. Like, nothing about them draws me in whatsoever. I like the actors. They're very nice. But the Mondrich storyline, nothing interesting about that. And I actually really liked their storyline so far. I really loved how they expanded their business, and now they had like this gentleman's club. That was really cool. And all of that gets thrown out just for them to get a title thrown into their face out of nowhere. And yes, I do understand like the whole Featherington thing kind of ties into that, because Lady Featherington is afraid that, you know, their title's gonna be taken away. Making up this whole storyline just for this one reference seems like way too much. In the lead up to Benedict and Sophie's storyline and all of the things that happened there, it would have made way more sense for the Mondriches to not have a title and just be business people within this world. It would have made way more sense for the business to be booming, for the club to be like super popular, and then for them to expand their business and maybe buy a venue where balls can be thrown or something like that. And then they get like more into the society and whatnot. And then you can tie that into Benedict's storyline with Sophie. Canthony. they were gone most of the time, and when they were there, they didn't fit in. They had their secluded scenes and they were just, you know, by themselves. And I do get that. You know, it's easier to do that with two actors who are doing other projects. It's hard to tie them into the whole storyline. I fully understand that, but it was still something that bugged me very, very much because I love them. And that's what I really missed. I missed the Bridgerton banter, and Anthony was a key part of it. It just felt like every single person had their own storyline going on and they were not talking to each other whatsoever. So yeah, I get that they're not going to be around so much because of the actors doing other stuff, but the reasoning is really ridiculous. Kate being highly pregnant and going on a journey to India, like, are you even gonna make it before the child comes out? Is my first question. And then Anthony leaving as the Viscount. Like, he has always been so behind being the Viscount and doing what's right for the family and this and that, and now he just leaves? The reasoning is not reasoning with me. And then last but not least, a personal issue of mine, the songs. I did not like them. I did not like having Yellow as the wedding song. Besides the fact that I am a Coldplay hater, why Yellow? It doesn't make any sense with a wedding. Why? No, to me that was a big mistake. It was a big mistake. Like, you could have put in anything else. Like, for example, Only Love Can Hurt Like This would have been a song. It should have been there. It really should have been in there. And it was also popular during the time they were filming. Colin being heartbroken because he's jealous and he doesn't know what to do. And Penelope being heartbroken because she thinks that this is not salvageable anymore. And then having this song and both of them being like torn. Oh, I need a fan edit of that. Also, I gotta say, I've been watching so many fan edits, and yes, this is one of the songs that was used a lot, so I may be a little, and with a little I mean a lot, biased. Yes, okay. But Yellow, still for the wedding, it was just the wrong choice. I don't know, you could have used anything else, but this was just not it. I'm sorry, this was not it. Those are all my little remarks about season 3 and everything I did not like. What did you like and what did you hate? Let me know in the comments down below, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye! We don't give a fuck.